Greetings everyone. Welcome back to Storytime Recaps. In this video, I'm going to recap one of the films from 2022, KKN, Di Disa Panari. Before we start, I hope your day be filled with sunshine and smile. Enjoy the story. Upon arrival in the city, Nur was told that the village in the middle of the forest can only be entered by riding a motorcycle. When they arrived at the village, Nur, Ayu and Maz Ilham went to the house of Pak Prabhu, the head of the village. Pak Prabhu told that their village was never used as a place of assignment for the KN. Although Pak Prabhu initially did not agree with the purpose of Nur, Ayu and Maz Ilham's arrival, he agreed after being persuaded. After that, Nur, Ayu and Maz Ilham were invited by Pak Prabhu to go around the village. In 2009, Nur, Widya, Ayu, Bhima, Anton, and Wahyu, conducting lifetime work lectures KN were awarded to an isolated village in East Java. However, they did not think at all that the village they chose was not an ordinary village. While they were riding the motorbike in the forest, Widya saw a beautiful woman dancing on a rock. The woman smiled at Widya. Not long after, the woman disappeared from Widya's sight. When they arrived at the village, Pak Prabhu took them to their place of residence. Meanwhile, their actual accommodation was renovated. Towards evening, Nur, Ayu and Widya slept in the same room on mats. Before going to sleep, Widya saw Jendaru who was stalking him from a corner of the room. Widya also covered his entire body with a blanket while reciting verses from the Holy Quran. Every time after the verse was finished being read, Widya heard the walls of the house being slammed. He was only able to cry until he finally fell asleep. The next day, Pak Prabhu, the village head, had warned them not to cross the forbidden gate that separated the village from a forest called Tapak Tilas. A few days in the village, the six of them began to experience strangeness. When Nur and Widya were about to take a bath, they were both haunted by a black creature and a woman wearing Javanese dance clothes. While Widya was bathing, he could feel that someone was watching his every movement. When Nur was outside, he suddenly heard the sound of a woman singing. The woman was cleaning her body while singing. Nur became confused, so the female dancer turned to her and smiled. Nur realized that something was wrong in the village. Nur immediately went to meet Pak Prabhu. Arriving at Pak Prabhu's house, Nur saw Pak Prabhu sitting with an old man known as Mbabayat with 3 cups of coffee on the floor. Mbabayat invited Nur to drink the coffee. When Nur drinks this coffee, it feels strange because the strong black coffee tastes sweet and has the smell of jasmine flowers. Mbabayat then asked Nur to explain the purpose of his visit to Pak Prabhu's house. Without delaying, Nur told about everything that had happened to him while he was in the village. Hearing Nur's story, Mbabayat explained that everything that happened to Nur was not because she violated the taboos and prohibitions in the village. Mbabayat added that Nur actually brought something from outside. This case means that Nur has actually been guarded by something all this time. Nur was stunned by this explanation. On the second night, Widya was possessed and then performed a Javanese dance. However, after regaining consciousness, he did not realize that he had performed it. The next day, Mbabayat served the same coffee to Widya, Ayu, and Wahyu. When Widya felt that the coffee was sweet, Mbabayat told her that the coffee was actually bitter, and the reason why Widya felt it was sweet coffee was because he was being pursued by spirits. Since he set foot in the village, Bhima became a quiet person and often disappeared in the middle of the night. Anton once heard a woman's voice from Bhima's room and found a message under his bed. One day, Nur catches Bhima and Ayu arguing about the bracelet that I should give to Widya. On the same day, the Joglo house where the students lived was suddenly raided by villagers who for some reason saw Widya as a snake. Responding to this, Pak Prabhu suggested that they should stop the KN activities, but Ayu insisted that they should continue it. Suspecting Bhima and Ayu, Nur went to Tapak Tilas, where she found them together. It was revealed that Bhima and Ayu made Tapak Tilas their secret place to have sex. Meanwhile, Widya and Wahyu got lost in the forest because their motorbike broke down while going shopping in the city. They meet a grandfather who directs them to a Javanese dance performance. They were provided with food before returning. After the party, Widya and Wahyu were given a paper package containing food to take home. Upon returning to their accommodation, Wahyu told the others about the party. Only what surprised them at that time, the paper package they brought before was a banana leaf. When the banana leaf was opened, it contained a monkey's head which was still covered in fresh blood and mucus. While packing their things, Nur found a scarf in Ayu's bag. A moment later, Widya is possessed by Dawu, who warns Nur not to interfere. Bhima confessed to Nur that the first night he was in the village, he dreamed of a Javanese dancer named Dawu who wrapped Widya around using a snake. For the sake of Widya's safety, Bhima should serve Dawu by visiting him routinely at Topic Tilas, as well as giving a bracelet as a talisman for Widya's safety. Nur blamed Bhima for Dawu's misguided teachings, and he only used Bhima to harm Widya. The next day, Nur is possessed by the grandmother who warns Widya that there will be some who are not safe among them, but she will not allow Badarawi to harm Nur. After regaining consciousness, Nur found Dawu's bracelet in Widya's bag. When he met Ayu, Ayu confessed that she was the one who put the bracelet in return for Ayu to have sex with Bhima. A fed-up Nur finally decided that the six of them should stop their KN immediately. However, at night, Bhima moved towards the former site. Widya follows him and finds Dawu's dance stage in the pavilion abandoned. There, Bhima soaked in a pool surrounded by many snakes. Widya, covered in fear, ran away. At the same time, Nur found Ayu dying in bed. While running away, Widya heard the sound of people cheering, gong music, drums and gamelan sounds. Widya was surprised when he saw many scary creatures around him. After Nur told what they had done, Mbabayat revealed that Dawu was a title given to the Javanese dancers of the village, and the identity of the woman who had haunted them was Badarawi, the spirit of Dawu who ruled the village. Mbabayat enters the spirit world called Ankaromerko, where Ayu is forced to dance by Badarawi, while Widya is prevented from leaving. After looking closely, the female dancer was Ayu. Through Ayu's facial reaction, which looked so sullen, she gave a signal to Widya to run away. Widya ran as hard as he could until he saw a dog at the end of the trail. Widya came out safely from the trail by following the dog's footsteps. Villagers finally found Bhima's body at Topic Tilas, naked and dying. Although Widya was rescued, Mbabayat could not save Bhima and Ayu. He said that Bhima had repeatedly had intercourse with Badarawi, and the children of their relationship were the snakes that now ensnared Bhima in Ankaromerko. While Badarawi ensnared Ayu with a scarf, so that she would become Widya's successor as the successor of the Dawu dance. As punishment for Bhima and Ayu's adultery at Topic Tilas, their souls will forever be trapped in Ankaromerko. In the epilogue, it is revealed that Bhima died for days after Nur, Widya, Anton, and Wahyu left the village, while Ayu died 3 months later. For years later, Nur and Widya gave an interview to the documentary filmmaker with the note that all the names involved were disguised. In the mid-credits scene, Nur visits a Kiai who tells her about Mbadak, a spirited grandmother who follows and protects her.